Welcome to Movie Recap, a channel dedicated to those addicted to movies. Our focus is to showcase the best recap of your favorite flick. Sit back, grab your popcorn and get ready to be amazed by The Equalizer. With his violent past behind him, McCall decides to lead a quiet life. However, when he sees a young girl, Terry, being controlled by violent gangsters, he once again takes up the fight for justice. Spoilers ahead. Robert McCall rises early to prepare for his shift at Home Mart. Among his co-workers, he is well-liked and respected. He joins his pal Ralphie for lunch at the table. McCall hears a crunch as Ralphie bites into his sandwich. His sandwich includes chips. Ralphie is meant to be losing weight in preparation for his security guard test, McCall reminds him. McCall visits a diner frequently and brings a book with him. He's reading The Old Man and the Sea right now. A young girl in the area asks McCall if the fish has been caught by the man from the book. Not yet, he replies. After eating all of her pie, the girl calls a cab. McCall's employees inquire about his previous employment. He quips that he performed a quick dance for them as Pip when Gladys Knight was performing. McCall locates the girl in the diner the following evening. She has a facial bruising. Giving her a donut from work, he does so. Despite the fact that her real name is Alina, she sits down next to him at his table and introduces herself as Terry. She presents McCall with a CD of her own self-recorded song. Before a car approaches them, McCall departs with her and the two of them stroll outside. Slavi and Tavi, his driver, are there. Slavi exits and strikes Alina. McCall moves forward until he notices Tavi is holding a gun. Slavi approaches McCall and gives him a business card so he can approach other girls. Alina is in the ICU after being severely battered. McCall learns from the manager when she returns to the diner the following night. When McCall arrives, he finds Mandy standing at Alina's side. Even more disfigured and damaged is her face. Mandy passes McCall while sobbing. She receives a cup of coffee but fills it to the brim. While consoling her, McCall queries about Alina. Mandy informs him while they are in the elevator that Slavi hit Alina, who then hit him back and was made an example of. Mandy claims that Slavi also flung battery acid in the face of a girl as punishment. He has previously threatened other girls. McCall examines the card Slavi handed him. He approaches the location where Slavi and his men are chatting over a restaurant. McCall walks in carrying a package of $9,800 to buy Alina's release. Although Slavi claims that the money would be sufficient to maintain Alina for 1 month, the thugs initially mock McCall. McCall starts to leave after returning the money. He decides to stay and lock the door after almost leaving. He sets the timer on his watch after carefully assessing the men and any weapons they may be carrying. When one of the men points his gun at McCall, the other one shoots Slavi in the throat, then he pokes that man's eye with a shot glass. Then, after stabbing the third man, he continuously stabs Tavi with a corkscrew until he kills him by placing it under his chin. McCall stands by Slavi's side as he deteriorates. Teddy, a Russian mobster, travels to Boston after the killings to find the murderer. To gather leads, he works with a bunch of dishonest police officers. McCall notices Ralphie isn't in at work. He is informed that Ralphie resigned. McCall pays a visit to the eatery where Ralphie's mother works. Ralphie is assisting there after a fire purportedly started accidentally. In order to continue his hunt for the murderer, Teddy is taken by one of the corrupt police officers, Frank Masters, to the gangster John Looney's office. Teddy and all Russians in general are denigrated by John. Teddy responds by hitting John with an ashtray as Frank eliminates John's bodyguards. Teddy keeps punching John in the face until he passes out. Baseball is being played by McCall and his co-workers. Ralphie arrives wearing a security guard uniform after passing the required training. Remar and Peterson, the other two corrupt police officers, are dining at Ralphie's mother's establishment. They threaten to have another accident if she doesn't pay up, and they extort her for the money. They are discovered by McCall, who approaches them and requests that a crime be reported. They ignore him until he personally calls one of them. As proof of their admission to causing the restaurant fire, McCall shows them a video he made of them extorting a convenience store employee. McCall warns them that the video will be shown on news channels unless they return the money. He is being held at gunpoint by the police, but McCall soon beats both of them. They acquiesce and later give Ralphie's mother the money. When a thief enters Home Mart, he threatens Jenny, the cashier, with a revolver until she passes him the money in the register. McCall approaches him casually and hands him the cash. The thief also demands Jenny's mother's ring, which belonged to Jenny. She presents it to him with emotion. McCall takes note of the man's tattoos and cap, among other physical characteristics. Since the kids and their mother are entering the store, he stays still. McCall decides to follow the man outside and examine the license plates on his vehicle. They are told by the police that this was one of a series of robberies committed by the same perpetrator. McCall then goes to a rack and retrieves a sledgehammer. Jenny discovers her ring in the till the following day. McCall cleans the hammer and places it back on the rack. Teddy learns various facts about McCall, most of which seem trustworthy and don't suggest that he was somehow connected to Slavi's killing. While one of their men tries to apprehend McCall at the diner, he and Frank, along with another bad guy, stake out the area. McCall inquires whether there are any other people waiting because he knows the man is up to no good. A truck approaches the diner, blocking Teddy and the others' view. The lights are then turned off by his inserting a knife into an outlet. As he exits the restaurant, he takes pictures of Teddy and his men in their vehicle. McCall is followed home by the thugs. He boils some honey to treat a wound the shooter caused. Before Teddy and his thugs show up, he successfully makes his escape. McCall observes them from a different area using covert cameras placed throughout his flat. Teddy is aware of his presence. McCall visits Brian and Susan Plummer, friends of his, at their residence. McCall is confident Susan will be able to learn more about Teddy and the individuals he works for. Brian tells McCall that Susan knew the truth even though it was assumed that he had passed away while she was out getting what he requested. She tells McCall when she gets back that the guys he killed belonged to the Vladimir Pushkin-led Russian Mafia. Pushkin sends Teddy, who is actually Nikolai when something needs to be done. Remar and Peterson, who worked for Pushkin, were discovered dead a few days earlier with their testicles stuffed down their throats. They were on Pushkin's payroll. McCall is warned by Susan that these men won't stop until they have killed him and everyone he cares about. When Frank tells McCall to help him, he confines him in his car with a hose and poisons him with carbon monoxide. Frank gives in and directs McCall to the Russians' money storage facility in a warehouse. All the criminals present eventually submit to McCall, who then imprisons them in a room with all the cash for the police to find before releasing the workers. The cops show up in order to apprehend Frank and find the gangsters and money. After that, McCall goes to Frank's safe deposit box to get his money, passport, and a USB drive that contains more details about Pushkin and his transactions. He tracks down his oil tankers and detonates them all. Home Mart is taken over by Teddy and his crew, who then imprison Ralphie and Jenny as well as other friends of McCall until he confronts them. The bad guys follow his phone and wait for him to arrive. They almost execute one of McCall's co-workers when he doesn't show up before music starts playing over the intercom. As the criminals leave, McCall goes discreetly through the area, killing them one by one, after hanging one with barbed wire and stabbing another one in the neck. Ralphie offers to assist McCall but is wounded in the leg. When the sprinklers are activated by the explosion, Teddy is killed by McCall when he pulls out a nail gun and continuously shoots Teddy until he hits him in the throat. 3 days later, as Pushkin is taking a shower in his Moscow house, McCall approaches him. McCall repeatedly runs the sink water and turns on and off the lights. McCall disappears when Pushkin approaches the sink. Unaware that McCall had severed the wires and exposed them, he orders his guards while ignoring the situation. Pushkin is electrocuted as a result of the water striking the wires. Already dead were the other guards. Alina approaches McCall after she arrives in Boston and is no longer injured. She informs him that she has started reading and has a genuine job. She gives McCall a sincere thank you for his assistance and gives him a cheek kiss as they part ways. In the final scene, McCall is back at the diner working on his laptop. He gets a message begging for assistance. He merely says, "Yes." We really hope you enjoyed today's recap of The Equalizer. Please leave a comment below on what you loved about the movie and why. Be sure to like the video and please don't forget to support our channel by subscribing so you don't miss any amazing content. Until next time, lights, camera, action. We look forward to seeing you in our next video.